Starting off strong with the Seiko NASA spin-off SPAC Move chronograph. That is the watch's official name. This is a quartz watch, and as far as I know, it is limited edition and also has a white version. It's something that I don't see a lot in people's wrists, and also a watch that I would love to own one day. It is 42mm in diameter, and the lug-to-lug is 47mm, which makes it wearable on my 6.5-inch wrist. My brother's wrist is a bit bigger than mine, so you might notice that the bracelet is a bit loose. Out of all, I started with this because it's my favorite in the collection. I love the Cyclops, the white subdials at 6, 9, 12, and the white background on the date balances the contrast of light color inside the black dial. Second one is the Seiko Prospex SBB 213, another limited edition watch. It's automatic and coming in at 40.5mm in diameter and 47.5mm lug-to-lug. And a little bit of backstory. I gave this watch to my brother, but I've owned it for a while. I wanted to have the same one, but it was no longer available after I gave this to him. So I own a black version of this instead. This SBB lineup for me has put the Seiko Diver's watch on the map even more. And it's proven by how Seiko has continued to produce the same design coming from its predecessor, which is the 62 Mass. It has become so successful that even the Marine Master lineup has now followed this design language. This Prospex is in the more affordable side, and I think it looks gorgeous. Next one is another Seiko. I don't specifically know what year this was from nor what model it is, but I'll refer to it as an SKX. My brother bought this pre-owned, and I'm quite sure it's considered vintage now because it's quite an old watch. This doesn't get a lot of wrist time, but it works perfectly fine. And what I love about this watch is the rectangular hour markers, which differentiate it from the modern SKX design that is now incorporated in the Seiko 5 lineup. I also love how the bezel has aged, or what we would call a patina. It adds a lot of character and makes a good conversation starter. Dimension-wise, I didn't have the chance to measure it, but it feels like a 41 to 42mm diameter and maybe around 47 to 48mm of lug-to-lug distance. And moving away from Seiko, this is a Longines Master collection. It is 40mm in diameter and it's packed with complication, more than what you would need on a daily basis, but it's also a watch that I might consider in the future. The only thing missing for me in the watch is the lume. Aside from that, I love everything about this watch, including the bracelet. It is extremely comfortable. This will also probably make me buy a watch winder because I wouldn't want to adjust everything all the time. But talking about this watch now makes me really want to visit Longines and try one on. I think it's a great daily watch that just suits most occasions except diving. This is also the first watch that put me back on the track of adding another one in the collection. I say that because for the longest time after purchasing my Oris Aquis, I haven't really felt the urge to acquire more watches. And if I will, it might be another chronograph watch. And we are back with the Seiko, another limited edition. This one is the Seiko 5 Kozuke Kawamura Limited Edition, reference number SRPJ41 or SBSA177. Another great watch from Seiko's unlimited limited editions. This comes in at 42mm, bicolored translucent dial, which gives off some vintage vibe and a retro looking bezel. One great thing about Seiko is how they managed to do the practical thing, which is shortening the lug-to-lug distance of their cases. Before putting this on, I've already concluded that it wasn't going to fit well since it's 42mm in diameter. But lo and behold, the magic of short lug-to-lug. I actually think it looks good even on my 6.5-inch wrist, and that linear black and silver color of the bezel gives an illusion that the watch is smaller than it is. By this time, it's safe to say that there is an inclination towards one brand, and that is Seiko. This is a Prospex Turtle Paddy SBDY017, a big watch at 45mm in diameter, but only with a 47.7mm of lug-to-lug. I'd say it is still wearable for me, and I do have the black version on a rubber strap, which is a lot more tolerable on my wrist. However, I wouldn't wear this on a bracelet. It just becomes too heavy, but it's still a really good watch. Its sunburst blue dial subdues the popping red and blue color of the bezel, and the red minute marker pops out even more. Combining all these colors with this Seiko's case design makes for a great watch that has surely put this on the future classic watch category, or you can say that it has already obtained that title. Last one in the collection is the Tissot 1853 Power Matic. This is 41mm in diameter, but the lug-to-lug is a bit long for me. It still doesn't go over my wrist, but I'd love to see more skin than watch when I'm wearing a watch. I also think there's too much space left on the dial, and the diamonds just doesn't work for me. But I do love some attributes of this watch. I like that it has 80 hours of power reserve, and for its price point, it is chronometer certified. Now that is good value for money, and the best part here is the bracelet. It is comfortable with its butterfly clasp, and I also love that linear polished part in the middle of the links. Usually, polished middle links are wider, but this one is subtle and I have not seen a bracelet like this before. I think it's elegant but not too flashy, well except for the diamonds on the dial. So what do you think about my brother's watches? And who has the better collection? I'm gonna say me, just because.